Welcome back to Scale Speedworks. My name's Mike. We are back out at the bench today. I've been working out here. I've been building. This is obviously, as you guys can see from the mat, this is my build space. This is my painting space, my gluing space. This is where I make stuff happen. And I had to clean this up today because I have two projects on the bench. But that's not why we're out here, at least not right now. I'm out here to show you guys what I bought Wednesday. I made a trip to Hobby Lobby last week. While I didn't pick up any automotive kits, I did get a couple of bottles of Tester's paint, which I actually really starting to love using. The Tester's paint in these jars, yeah, it's a little expensive, $2.69. I thin this 50/50 with Mr. Hobby leveling thinner, and that just sprays beautifully through the airbrush. Really can't beat it. So I picked up a couple of Tester's paints, nothing too exciting. But while I was looking at the shelf, I did pick up a couple of small kits. You guys know I really can't pass up Star Wars kits, especially Bandai ones. They just build absolutely beautiful. Picked up the Millennium Falcon. Yeah, prices have gone up. It was $8.99 not too long ago. I don't care. 40% off. Still kind of hard to argue with that price. But these things are super, super cool. Here's all the decals where everything goes. They do have water slide decals, and they do have stickers in these kits. And that's important. No glue. So you just need some sprue cutters. The parts snap together. Really, really hard to beat. Super, super fun. I built one of these kits. I built the X-Wing actually with my son probably about 2 years ago. So he was 9, 10 years old, and he built this no problem. Not this one, but the X-Wing. So again, I saw this on the shelf. I couldn't pass it up. You're going to build it in just 1, maybe 2 hours. It's going to fit together beautifully. There's not going to be any problems, and it's going to look fantastic on your shelf. Just a little display model. Again, I couldn't help but to pick this one up. The other thing I picked up were these little Gundams, and I know absolutely nothing about these. However, I thought that picking these up, I can work on maybe a little weathering. Wouldn't these be cool if they were weathered just a little bit to show some battle damage or to show some rust or whatever? Again, I know nothing about Gundam, but for this price, $11, 40% off, that brings these down to what, 6, maybe $7 a piece? And for that, to build a cool little Gundam model, weather it, show some battle damage, but I thought that would be a great little tool to practice on. That way you don't have to find that scrap car body, that scrap airplane body, that scrap whatever, that spoon. You can practice on this. You can practice on the lines and the angles and their tools and everything else. So I'm going to give it a shot. For just a couple of bucks, you can't beat it. So I think my Hobby Lobby had maybe 3 or 4 different kinds, but these are the two that I picked up, and we're going to give it a shot one day. All right, before we get into the rest of the kits that I bought, I picked up these. These are magnetic hooks. I bought these at Home Depot. They were a little expensive, but I like to use these. I stick these on to all of my metal cabinets and everything that I use, and they support 14 pounds. It's a pretty strong little magnet there. And these things, they hold my paint racks. I got it right now holding uh, my airbrush hose. There's a million uses for these things. And Home Depot's just a mile or so from my house. I had to pick a couple up. Again, just because they are super, super useful. So while I was online looking at a bunch of the different online hobby stores trying to find who had the best prices for a couple of things that I wanted to buy. I made a purchase. So let's see what we got. First of all, I'll tell you it's from Model Roundup. Lovely to have a sticker, another one to add to my spray booth. Love these things. Go for racing. They have all kinds of decals for all kinds of projects. I thought this was going to be super, super cool. Some graphics, some pinstriping graphics. These are going to go, or at least I think these are going to go on my 50 Oldsmobile. I'm going to pick out a couple, and it's hard to see, but there's some white ones here. There's also the blue. I'm going to pick out a couple of these, and I think I'm going to be putting these on my 50 Oldsmobile that I'm building for the Bootleggers Ball Group build. So this was just something to add to my cart, something that I've been keeping my eye on, and might as well just add it and include it in the shipping. Something else I've been keeping my eye on. This is obviously a photo etch uh, detail set for the 69 Camaro for the USAC build. So these aren't cheap, but they're super, super cool. Never used one of these before, so I'm going to have to read the instructions and see how to use it. Looks like they have some pretty good instructions on the back there and tells you what stuff is and where it goes. So we're going to have to figure that out. One of those for the Camaro and another one for the 50 Oldsmobile. So again, I'm going to have to read through this, see where everything goes. But man, the detail in here looks pretty darn sweet. The other thing that I was out of is bare metal foil. And I know a lot of you guys have been having trouble with the bare metal foil lately, but my supply is getting down pretty low, and I figured it's time to get some more. So I ordered the Ultra Bright. I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm excited to give it a shot. I mean, that's all you can do, right? You can try something, and if it doesn't work, well, then you try something else. So, like I said, I was buying a model kit, and I figured I might as well get some bare metal foil, some pinstriping decals, and a couple of photo etch kits. It all comes in the same box, so might as well make the most of it. Model roundup for that. And then the model kit that I picked up, I've seen a lot of builds of this, and it gave me a couple of ideas. So I picked up this, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but the Mobius K-Code Mercury Comet. Love, love, love this look. This hood, man, that thing is killer. Yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful looking kit here. Mobius does an awesome job with the trucks, and I'm sure they do an awesome job with their cars as well. So, looking forward to putting that in the stash and getting to that one of these days. Well, that's all I have for What Did You Buy Wednesday today. Just a few little stash ads for the collection. That's all I got for today. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. So the ground has finally stopped shaking out here in San Ramon, California. I know the rest of you have been battling some severe winter weather, but we've had a number of earthquakes here really since November. We've had a big swarm. And what's the difference between a swarm and a regular earthquake? Well, a swarm is a bunch of small little earthquakes. So here in San Ramon, where I live, we've had over 600 earthquakes since November of 2025. And that is quite a few. Usually with an earthquake, you get a big one and then they kind of taper off and you get smaller ones and they decrease in intensity over time. Well, these earthquake swarms, they're all real close to the same intensity and they don't really decrease in number over time. They just kind of stop. It's been interesting. No damage, no injuries, nothing too big, but it's nice to get a little relief from the shaking that's been going on.
Well, it ain't much, but it's home.
How often does the train go by?
So often you won't even notice it.